Okay folks, Brian here from Northwind Garage. I got these 1.5" by 55 thousandths Woodmizer blades that the outdoor guy turned me on to. So I'm going to switch one out and we're going to finish this giant log. Watch your head. Stand back, son. Right. Okay, so let's just have a comparison look at here. So you can see this is a much wider blade, much wider by about 1/4 inch. So this is an 1.5" blade, and this is an 1.25" blade, that same size that came on it, by 158 inches, because my mill is a 2002 HM 130 Max. Or, I'm sorry, 2020 HM 130 Max. It takes a 158 inch saw blade. So we're going to give this a try, this new blade.
Yep.
Okay folks, so when you get a new blade, a lot of times there'll be a little coating of oil on it just to protect it. And these aren't as oily as the last ones I got, but I just take a little bit of brake parts cleaner, and I wet the rag with it, and then I just spin it around in there just to take that initial coating of oil off, so I don't get it on my the polyester belt, and then the dry belt, the BX belt. So it's just a precaution I take. I don't know if it said it in the manual or not. It's just something I like to do. Make sure there's not any oil on the blade. As simple as that. Let's see here. Now what I'm going to do is tension the blade. Stand back, bud.
Okay.
You need to stand back. Okay.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure I'm just a little proud in the back of the van wheels. A little proud in there. Now I want to check with a thick piece of paper. If I get that in there now. So get my bottom wet here. So I'm just going to reset these guide blocks because this is a thicker blade than the one we just took off. So okay folks, so there's two ways you can adjust these guide blocks. And one way is with a thick piece of paper in between the two guide blocks. I haven't had much luck with that, and it wants to move the paper around. Some guys like to do it that way, but for the most part I prefer the feeler gauge, because a thick piece of paper that you grab and a thick piece of paper that I grab might be two different sizes. But a feeler gauge just stays the same. So essentially, I feel more comfortable using a feeler gauge. If that makes sense. You know, paper can vary, especially, you know, from where it's made, from one place to another. But a feeler gauge never changes. So this is a 55 thousandths thick blade, so you will have to make an adjustment with this Woodmizer blade. 1.5 inch wide, 55 thousandths thick. I think the pitch was 1 7/8 inch pitch, and then 158 inches long for my model mill, which is a 2020. Alright, so if you'll notice, I don't know if you can come over here or not. See the sawdust in here? On this side. There's quite a lot of sawdust packed in here. Underneath this guide. So I'm going to try to clear it out of there to have room for the adjustment. Alright, so we'll stick the feeler gauge in there and just tighten it down for the top here. This is a 4mm Allen wrench, according to the book. It says 4mm in it. Yes, using a 4mm hex key. Alright, so I'm happy with that on the top. On the bottom seems really loose, so I'm going to tighten that one. So you could see on this, it was only wearing on a certain part of it, so just clearing out these little slots, which I imagine will fill back up almost instantly, but it'll at least give me a good measurement. So I'm sticking the feeler gauge in there, and I want to tighten up this side first. Oh. I tighten the front one first because it sets the guide block where it should go, and then the front one just clamps it down. And then I check it again with the feeler gauge, which it should go in there without any binding. And there you have it. That's 20 thousandths feeler gauge. Check this side. And then on the back of this blade, you want a 40 thousandths gap, according to the book. According to the manual, it says 40 thousandths in the back to the bearing. And that's back here, in the back of the blade. I'm just going to check it. And I don't have a 40 thousandths feeler gauge, so I'm going to double up. So six. Okay, so 14 and 6 is 20, so we'll We'll double these two up with a 20. So that's 40 thousandths. And just check that on the back bearing. Pretty darn close. Also, you want to check your belt for tightness with the tension on the blade, and there's a big warning in that in here. Right here. So you want 1/4 inch deflection right here, which is about what I got, and the blade has to be tensioned according to the manufacturer. Alrighty then. Not ready to start cutting here. It seems far away. Okay folks, so I've adjusted the blade guide height. I've also checked it in the back for the distance from the bearing, which it should be a 40 thousandths in there in the back. This one's just a hair tight, but I'm going to run it and see what happens. Both the blade guides are at 20 thousandths. I noticed when I'm doing my checks here that this was out of level. My other blade guide here, and also the whole saw head's a hair out of level. So I think what I gotta do is make a check here. Check on this. That bunk isn't too bad.
In the middle.
It shows just to go up a hair on this back corner here.
It's so.
Come over here, Mimi. So it's not bad. It's just a hair out. So what I'm going to do There's that here. Looking good. Just double check up here. Oh, not bad. A lot better. A lot better. Then you want to check your blade. Blade guide. It's what guides your blade into the wood, son. They're right here. See them in here? There's those black things in there. So I made a little adjustment. My blade guide here, but that bunk is perfect. So we're leaving that. That's perfect. Blade is perfect. I'm leaving it, folks. I'm gonna start cutting. All right.
Yeah, now I have to do that with you. Yay.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah.
Yep. You got your hearing protection in your glasses. Don't wait till we start cutting. Make sure you have them ahead of time. So today we have my lovely assistant. My daughter is filming, so I'm going to give her a little introduction if she'll let me have the camera for a second. Okay folks, this is the lovely Naomi with her Navy shirt on. Go Navy! Alright, so there she is. Shout out to Naomi. Everybody shout out to Naomi in the comments. That's a camera lady today, so be nice. All right. So I'm going to try to saw with it like that, because I think everything's pretty darn close. So, when I say close, folks, I mean right, so, like within a couple thousandths. I mean, on this machine, you're not going to get it exactly perfect. It's just not going to happen. I mean, there's too many variables involved. I mean, your close and my close might be two different things. I mean, when you're talking nano measurements or the size of a human hair and whatnot, we're good to go when you're talking about an 1/8 inch cut. So it doesn't have to be exact, but you try to get it as close as you can and follow the manual as close as you can. There may be some things that you can cut a corner on, but I don't recommend it with the blade, because that's an important factor in sawing lumber. A nice sharp blade, nice good adjustments, and all that stuff should be dialed right in before you even turn the engine on. So that's my idea on the whole thing. He wants to saw, folks. Are you ready to saw, bud?
Yeah.
Here. He's ready to saw. So let's get to it. Let's see. I filled the water, filled the gas, Check the oil. Let's flip that log, bud. I think I'm going to call this video the last of the giant pine log. I've been cutting on this log for a while. Look out, bud. Stand back. Stand back. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe we should have. Oh, yeah. We got to trim that back. That's got to go back down. Watch out. Look out.
Dad, I would expect it to be called.
All right.
Hey, look, Dad. There's a plate.
What, bud? All right. I gotta take a piece off of this because it's wavy. I can feel it.
I can feel it. And there's a little bit of paint on it.
Okay, folks. This is the first test on that 1.5 inch brand new blade. I adjusted everything. Let's see how it cuts.
Dad, there's a little bit of paint on it.
Look out, bud. I don't have a tape measure. Can you go get me a tape measure?
Yes.
Okay, folks. Here's the maiden voyage on the
Woodmizer 1.5 inch blades.
We'll see how it does.
Daddy,
What, buddy?
this looks like a race car.
It's a what?
This.
What is it?
It's a prison.
It is. All right, folks, let's see how we did here. This was rather wavy on top. You can feel it with your hand. You can see it essentially where the knots were. Well, you can see it here. Look at the edge of this. You can see how wavy it was
You can work that easily.
compared to what we just cut. Oh yeah.
Maybe this is an insect inside here.
That's much better. That's much better.
It's better than I ever seen.
So, with this log, it's been sitting around a great deal of time. Enough so the insects got set into it and that sort of thing. It's very dry on the inside and pitchy.
We can.
So, and it's knotty. On top, it's got all the perfect storm to have wavy wood. So,
And I've been on this summer anyway.
so did that 1.5-inch Woodmizer help? Absolutely, absolutely. I'm gonna roll this log up. I need to make another cut, but
Yeah, when I get it.
yeah. It's got some cracks in it, yeah.
It's even wavier on this side.
Even purple came up. Daddy,
Well done.
what is this new pot?
Yeah, that's close to the center. It's called the pith.
It's a piss.
It's the center of the wood, son. The center of the tree. See, look over here. Look over here. See where all the rings come together? That's called the pith. It's right in there. So it's going to crack in there.
So I just took a part of the pit.
All right, folks. Well, I'm hunting for 2x8s, so this will work.
I can count it.
Uh-huh.
I can count the whole sawmill.
What's that?
I can count the whole thing.
You can count what?
The whole sawmill.
You can?
Yep.
All right, let's tip that up. Okay, stand back, son. Okay, watch your head. Stand back.
Yeah, wait.
Big improvement, folks. That's a big improvement, those 1.5" blades. So what we want to do now, watch your fingers. You got it? Can you push it? All right, here. All right.
That was easy.
You all right? You okay? So, you really definitely want to use log dogs too, folks, when you're working with a big log like this too, because sometimes you think the weight of the log will hold it, but actually what happens is the log will vibrate, and that'll cause a wavy cut too. So you got to think of that. So you can see the wave here left over from the other blades I had on it. A number of things that caused that, but this blade seems to be doing well. So move forward on it. So this is very knotty wood, folks. Look at it here. And I just cut that with extreme precision. And you can see that, from the tooth that I probably went a little too fast. And it did not dive. It did not dive. I'm going to try to go slower this time. Check this out. Okay, folks, so you can tell here we have a full dimensional 2x, full size. Okay, so up here, folks, I went really slow. And see that cut? I got a different cut
Daddy?
than down here. And it got knotty down here.
Daddy?
What, bud?
Can I get a tape measure?
Can you get a what?
A tape measure.
Yeah, I'll get you a tape measure.
Yay!
Alright. Well, let's give this another try. I just went the same speed I would as if I was trying to just cut lumber for production. And yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. That's a perfect buildable piece of lumber. Other than that it's full of pith. I'll have to, but it'll be fine for chicken house or something like that. But yeah, that's cutting extremely well. Very little wave, if there's any at all. There, you can see by the edge of the board here, sitting on top of it. Maybe there was a little here on the where it's really knotty. See that? Maybe a little here. Minuscule compared to what it was doing. And that's how I would saw if I was just producing 2x and that sort of thing. So I can live with that. I can definitely live with that. That's no different than a regular sawmill, really. Alright, so let's make this giant log disappear. I absolutely adore this electric start, folks, because you can shut it off while you're trying to make an adjustment or see something, and you don't have to fight to get the engine running again. So not that it starts hard, just a flick of a switch, absolutely effortless. I love it. Electric start, way to go. Okay folks, so when you're sawing big lumber, you got to try to get the biggest material you can out of it. So I was just observing this, and I could either cut another 8x8 or another 2 or 3 8x8s. Or I could get a 6x6 out of that. And a 2x6. So I'm going to flip it up and do that. I'm going to get a 6x6 and a 2x6. My last cut.
This lighting makes you look so good. Okay folks, we got an excellent rough sawed 6x6 out of that. The last board was a 2x6. So there you have it. Northwind Garage. Peace out.